Hi, I'm Shane from Artificial Futures, and I was put on this earth to crack open people's skulls and play with the gooey innards. That's my purpose in life, to mess with how people think, to expand their mindset. Why am I bringing this up? Well, we're going to be talking about things like purpose for the next few videos. You see, a few weeks back, I made a video about how or if robots might take over the world, and it caused some friends of mine to ask the question of, okay, if robots won't take over the world until we tell them to, then how could technology cause serious harm? And so what I'm going to do for the next 4 weeks is highlight 4 critical pitfalls that we can learn from the history of automation. And so to do this, we're going to look at a bunch of little case studies along the way and try to learn from their failures. And today, we're going to go back over 200 years to Nottingham, England. Many of you will know the term Luddite. Now, colloquially, this of course means, someone who is a laggard or a denier of technology adoption. It's what we often call our, old grandparents or something like that if they have trouble using the VCR. Oh dear God, I just realized how old I am for using the VCR as an example. Anyway, for those of you who are the history buffs in the room, some of you may know that the term Luddite actually comes from a specific individual, this guy named Ned Ludd. And what happened was post-Napoleonic Wars in Northern England, there was a movement that was happening that a guy like Ned Ludd really moved against. A lot of the factories that were working up there were textiles factories, and post-Napoleonic Wars, they were rough economic times. And so technologists and factory owners were looking for more and more ways to automate many of these factories through things like the steam-powered loom. Now, these kinds of technologies started to spread through factories throughout the Northwest, and in doing so, what happened was individuals like Ned Ludd, who were often journeymen at being weavers or some other specialized craft, would be put out of work because suddenly all of these automated looms allowed it for low-skilled workers to come in and do the work of somebody who'd maybe had 20 years of experience before that. And so many of you now know the story that where this goes, those skilled workers rose up and smashed the hell out of things. There were riots in the streets. They started smashing all the automation equipment. Work was pulled to a standstill, and everyone was a little bit on edge. There was quite the tension 200 years ago. But, of course, why did they rise up and take arms like this? Why were they so angry? Well, there's the obvious answer, which is, yeah, there was definitely a factor of money involved here, but that was only half of the equation. Because the other half was something far more personal. You see, weaver at the time wasn't simply a job. There was also a thing known as weavers' guilds, which are kind of like modern-day unions, but a lot deeper. They were also social groups. In fact, hell, they were an entire way of life. Being a weaver was a way you identified yourself. Think about it. You probably know someone personally with the last name of Smith or Weaver. These aren't just cute names. This means that somewhere in that person's ancestry, they had a, great-great-great-grandparent or grandmother who was a blacksmith, or maybe even somebody who operated looms and about 200 years ago was a big rioter. You see, what was really happening here was that they were also going at these people's purpose. This was what they felt they were put on the earth to do, and yet suddenly these new technologies took away that purpose. It robbed them of what they felt was their God-given right to exist on this earth. And so now think about what we're doing with some modern technologies like AI. And ask yourself, whose purpose could we be taking away? Are there individuals in this world that proudly identify as truckers, or accountants, or writers? What's going on in Hollywood right now? We've seen weeks, months of strikes from individuals. And yes, of course, they're concerned about money and their livelihoods, but they're also worried that their purpose of why they were put on this earth is being taken away. This is why they're so passionate right now. So the next time that you want to play with a bit of AI and look at some use cases that you could maybe apply it on in your business, first ask yourself one simple question. Are you robbing someone of their dream? Purpose is the first in a series of 4 videos that we're going to go through over the next few weeks. And I hope you tune in because these are 4 critical pitfalls that I think everyone should pay attention to in this modern age of automation. Thanks for coming out, everybody.